Welcome to the Side Action, episode 5 of season 7. My name is Jim Weglars, aka Wegs. You can follow me at Wegs School on X and on Instagram.
And I'm Coop. You can check me out on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. Like and subscribe to us on the Facebook and Instagram and everything in between. How we doing? How's Hawaii treating you?
It was a rough week at work, Coop.
Yeah?
A little rough. Yeah, rough waters. I mean, I've already found out I'm likely not going to close this deal this year, so maybe come back again early next year. So maybe March, maybe April, maybe never. So that was great. And then just a couple barbs with the local authorities. So that's always been exciting. But at least I got to go to a very nice dinner last night with the fellas, volleyball guys. We went out, had a good time. I got a date tomorrow. I got some things cooking, you know.
You.
And then I'm leaving town on Sunday, so we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. I got a couple swim sessions in. You know, got the nice pool. So I don't know if you talked to. I know your school, Lieutenant Cavs is considering coming out. So you know, we'll hit the pool if he comes out. If he actually makes it happen.
Yeah, when's he talking? Is he talking? Is he
Early
giving you a time
November.
frame?
He says November, but you know, I believe it when you book a ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mom booked the ticket, sent me the confirmation. She's here the night. Boom, October, done.
Yeah, there it is.
How about yourself? What's going on?
Nothing too much. Just getting back in the flow of things. We've been traveling for like the last 2 weeks. Obviously, you're still traveling, but had the wedding. Wedding went well. We got him married. You know.
Yeah, so, happened.
No longer an honorary member of the Wolf Pack. He's graduated from that. So, yeah, that was a good time. So that was cool to see. I got to be the best man. I've never experienced that before.
Did you do a speech?
Yeah. I cut it down. I made it nice and short and sweet. It was probably like 45 seconds to a minute, like right on the dot.
Fine.
So, yeah. It wasn't a very big wedding. It was like maybe 60 people, 70 people. So, but it was a good time. Everybody seemed to have fun, and I had to drive the couple home because I was responsible enough to kind of, not get carried away. I kind of kept my ducks in a row, if you will. But the bride and groom had a good time, so that's what's important.
Very impressed, Dalton. You're showing such maturity.
I know. I'm just looking out.
Yeah. So, I got to go to the North Shore on Saturday. That was a highlight. It's super pretty up there. That's where theoretically all the surfing is, but it was a very calm day on the water. We played some volleyball and then went to this place. Have you ever seen the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Yeah.
So that movie is set at this hotel. We went to this hotel afterwards and got some drinks at sunset. It was very beautiful. Of course, we went. That volleyball dude took me and Paul there. We're like, what are you trying to get something out of us here? I mean, getting us wine and dine us at this spot, because that's his go-to spot. It was only couples there because it's like super romantic, but pretty awesome. So, and then besides that, we'll get to this later. Very tough football week, buddy, as you may know.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. So, but let's get in. You had no idea, right? You had no clue. Well, let's get into it. So, who are you taking to shed this week, Coop?
So we'll try to keep this short and sweet. We're going to start with Bryce Young. Young obviously getting benched. When your head coach is putting his ass on the line and betting on the other guy, that's a tough look. So it's going to be interesting to see. I've already taken the over in that game. I got it at 40 before we got to 41. So that's one of my favorite picks of the week is the over in that game.
I like it. Yeah.
We'll definitely get into that. So, and then the second thing I'm taking to the shed is shooting air guns, just fake guns into the air. That got taken to the shed if you saw Drake London do that. So 15-yarder made it a 48-yard attempt, I believe, for the extra point.
It's a chip shot for Young Wei Koo.
But yeah, it was a little everybody seemed to question what he did wrong. But and then Kent State, they lost 71-0 to Tennessee, but they were down 65-0 at halftime. So
holy cow.
Yeah, they definitely got taken to the shed. And then I also have, man, the shed list is long. Let me tell you, I found some good ones.
Got to get a bigger wing on the shed.
It's gonna be a shed house before too long. with the officials helping the Chiefs win again. So a fun stat that I found while going through X the other day is so Patrick Mahomes has had 22 interceptions in his 7-year career called back. In perspective, it's the most in NFL history. In perspective, Tom Brady only had 16 in his 22 years in the NFL.
So he's already beat the GOAT in a category.
Yeah, so think about that just for a minute. And then Mississippi State, they're the last team in the shed, or I guess the last part of the shed for me. They got beat at home by Toledo, and the score was 41-17. They got absolutely housed in their own home. An SEC team got destroyed by a MAC team. So
That's 2 big MAC wins on the road this year.
Huge. So, yeah, the shed list is long this week, Jim. I hate to break it to you.
It's going to get a little longer. You didn't put this because I'm sure you saw mine. I'm putting Nick Sirianni in the shed. First of all, he owes me personally like $500 and actually $500 for a survivor pick, the Eagles. We'll talk about that a little more later. Well, I guess screw it. I mean, everybody's seen it. We'll talk about it later, I suppose. But he kind of blamed it on Kellen Moore for the third down play call. Like, you're the head coach, dude. This is like the biggest play of the game. Like, you're going to blame it on him? You can overrule that. Run the ball or do whatever you're going to do. And obviously, he also elected to go for that first half. Went to go for it in the first half. At, the 9-yard line, 4th and 4, just kicked the field goal. So Nick Sirianni, I think that he's not a great coach. I mean, I know Fangio did not show well in that game, but that dude was like tongue out, running down the sideline, whatever. Like, I don't know. He's a clown. So get in the shed with everybody else. And then on a personal note, which was funny last week, I should tell you this, Coop. We don't have a huge following, as you know. It's growing, but we have some stable, loyal listeners. And sometimes people listen for maybe the wrong reasons, but they're going to get it today. So I get this text last week from Jane, and there's a photo, and I might have sent it to you, a photo of Luke, like eagerly watching our, YouTube podcast, YouTube version of the podcast, seeing if he's going to be in the shed, because as you may know, Luke and Jane were adamant about coming to Hawaii, not just in the spring, but they were like, oh, Luke's like, send me the list before you send it to anybody else. We're going to come. Can we go 10 days? I'm like, sure you can. Well, guess what? Last week they said, we're not coming. Welcome to the shed, baby. You don't go to Hawaii, you're going right to the shed. So listen to that, Luke.
Yeah. He's arriving.
He's arriving.
Arriving in the shed, baby.
But I don't like to be a negative guy. Let's go positive. Club Dub. I'll start. Our Malik Willis, the podcast Malik Willis, came through in the clutch with his 14 passes in a game that they won. He ran for 43 yards or wherever he ran, but they just ran all over the Colts. I should have been more forceful in my backing of the pack with action there in the picks. But Malik Willis gets the big win as a starter. I'm not sure he's ever had a win as a starter. Maybe he has, but they certainly got it done in a big spot. And you obviously got to give a lot of credit to LaFleur, who I think is showing he's a really great coach by having a game plan. He went back to the 1940s football and just ran 53 times or something like that in the game. And then I'm going to give it to Captain Kirk. Yes, you eliminated me, Captain Kirk, but you have reversed your primetime trend. I remember a couple of years ago, you could not win a game outside of that 1:00 window Eastern time. And now you have led like more like fourth quarter touchdown drives than pretty much any other team since you came to the league in 2015. So congratulations for just cutting through that Eagles defense in like 5 passes to take the lead in the win on Monday night. So Kirk, come on in. We got a special section. Prime already outfitted it with plenty of booze because he was there last week. So he left some bottles on ice for you.
Yeah, we had to kick him out. He was having such a good time. He shut the place down, baby. He had such a great time. God love him. But no, that's I'm gonna say the Packers should have been your survivor pick. So Action obviously doesn't read wegspool.com like some of us out here. So
right,
yeah,
some of us are mocked.
They're going 14-3 this year. So he obviously didn't read the schedule. So shame on
they got a chance.
Shame on that editor. But no, so I have and this is not a repeat, or I guess this is not like a redo, but Sam Darnold is still in Club Dub for me. I don't know how you feel, but
You got to have a
he's one of
ginger in Clubbed Up. You got to have a ginger in there.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out to the Redheads, right? But yeah, Sam Darnold, he's still there. He was 17 of 26, 268. He had 2 touchdowns. Obviously, he had that really long one to Justin Jefferson. And the Vikings are leading the NFC North at 2-0, baby. And here we are, just for you, because I know you were shitting all over him, and I told you to watch out. So
I did.
We're also going to put the New Orleans Saints. Speaking of watching out, my God, they have 91 points through 2 games, which is the 6th most, I believe, in NFL history. So maybe this team is who we thought they were, that I was talking about last year. Like, I was really high on this team last year, I think, if you recall correctly. And you were thinking Dennis Allen's going to be the first one out, and now it's looking like maybe not. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, right now they're partying and Clubbed Up for sure. We also had the Commanders. So the Commanders pulled off NFL history on Sunday. They became the first team to give up 3 touchdowns in a game, score 0 of them, and still win the football game. So
unfathomable.
Shout out to Jaden Daniels for that's hell of a way to win your first
7
game.
field goals, Coop. 7.
7, yeah. Man, shout out to Joey Sly if you had him in fantasy. Good Lord. And then also shout out to Woj. Woj announced his retirement yesterday, that he's going to go be the GM at St. Bonaventure. So it's his alma mater. So for the college basketball operations, that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
So put Woj in Clubbed Up. He was like breaking Woj bombs for about, I think 2017 or 2016. He's been around for a minute. So it'd be interesting to see who fills his spot. So
you're saying he's going to be the GM? You mean like the athletic director, or what is he going to do over there?
It just said general manager. So I don't know. You saw that college football is starting to add like a 10% tax to tickets and stuff like that to pay for athletes. So I think they're going to start having GM, because I think some football programs already do this, where they have a GM that like literally manages the portal, and that's what all they do all year.
Makes sense. So, wow, that's exciting.
We'll see what happens.
Well, let's get into college football, and obviously, your hot streak continues. I think I updated it. So, you actually might have to do that. But so week 3 recap of the big games: Arizona at Kansas State. Well, that wasn't much of a contest. K-State just destroyed Arizona in that one on Friday night under the lights, 31-7. So not much to say there. But how about UNLV? They did it. They made it happen. Big road win, 23-20. A surprising under in the game. So Kansas, back-to-back losses. They kind of, I don't know, maybe they could still limp in some kind of way, but they're not showing out like we thought they would.
No, I'm selling my stock. I'm out.
It goes straight to basketball. And then Boston College at Missouri. This was a good game, actually, a better game than we thought. And Mizzou gets the win, but they don't cover the big number of 16. And surprising, this game also went under the 52. So 27-21 win for Missouri. So they're still in the mix. They still keep winning, but they didn't cover the number. And then Oregon State. Well, that was another no contest. My God, Oregon destroyed them, 49-14. Your Bearcats. This is one of your picks last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they covered. They won 27-16. It was only a 3.5 point line, so nice work on that one. And then Virginia Tech took care of business over your ODU, 37-17. So you saw I had a crystal ball there that they would cover the number. That's not a game I would have thought about, so good job. And then lastly, you did get the cover of Utah State, but they got beat pretty good, 38-21 to Utah, although it looks like Cam Rising may not play in this next game, right?
I think he's a game time decision, or he's questionable.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So we'll talk about that. The big games I have for this week in week 4 of college, you've got Illinois at Nebraska. Illinois is in the top 25 now, ranked 24. Nebraska's only 22. They're getting downplayed, in my opinion, as we've discussed. Nebraska's a 9-point favorite, 43-point total. This is Friday night action, 7 p.m. Central. So who do you like in this one? I think I know you like, but I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, I like Nebraska. I just don't know if I like that number.
It's a big number, sure.
Yeah, well, especially on Friday. Well, Friday nights they usually go one or two ways. It's either a blowout or it's like a really close game that goes down to the wire.
Right.
So somebody usually wins at the gun. So like I hate these big, like you said, it's a big number. So it's like you're either going to look like a genius or you're going to look like an asshole, one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean they're in Lincoln. I'd like got 9 is a lot of points, but I don't know. Illinois has played well so far, but we'll see. I think that's a big spot for them. And then back to the big house, man. USC coming into Michigan. Michigan's still 18th ranked. I'm not exactly sure why, but they are 6-point dogs this time at home, 46.5-point total. I don't know the last time Michigan's been a dog at home 2 times. Well, it's only in the first 3 games of the year for those guys. This is Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Central. Are you laying the wood here with the Trojans, or are you gonna, back the Wolverines this time?
This one it's interesting for me because they're switching quarterbacks. They're going to orgy. They're gonna have an orgy in the backfield, but I definitely think they're gonna take more of a running approach to the game, and I just don't know how USC's defensive line is going to hold up against Michigan's offensive line, or we're going to really. I mean, obviously there was a big mismatch in the Texas game between those two, to where we kind of knew going into the game that Texas was probably going to be the better team. So USC's been playing well at the beginning of the season. They can obviously keep that going. Michigan only has really 2 interior defensive linemen that you have to worry about moving forward. So the secondary is shown to be susceptible to big plays, and I think USC and obviously Lincoln Riley can take advantage of that.
All right, Utah at Oklahoma State. Let's try this again. Saturday, 3 p.m. Central. This was an interesting game. I believe this is a stale line. Utah was a favorite in this game, 2.5 at Oklahoma State, 52-point total. But with the Cam Rising game time decision, I believe this number has moved quite a bit. So let me just check what I've got on the old
do you want to play? Let's play over under in the other way. Guess the combined age of the 2 starting quarterbacks in this game.
Oh wow. Normally it'd probably be like 40 or 42. So I guess we're gonna do 40.5.
Nah, it's 49. It's a 25-year-old playing a 24-year-old. Yeah, the Oklahoma State Alan Bowman for Oklahoma State is a 7-year redshirt senior. He double redshirted, I believe. So, and then obviously Cam Rising, I think, is had 2 injury years. So, yeah, it's interesting. They're literally having to basically adults with all the kids go against all the children. So
interesting. Well, Oklahoma State is now a 2.5-point favorite, so it's a 5-point move in this one, indicating Rising probably won't play. But I don't know, man. What do you think? I mean, Gundy's hell of a coach. I like Utah early, but now with this news, it's kind of cloudy.
I would take the first half under just because it's going to be sunny still. And then as the nightfall comes in, I think the Cowboys pull away. I think just something about the nighttime in Stillwater, Oklahoma, just does something to the other team. So,
yeah, with the water.
Just something.
Well, how about this game? This is my guy. I don't know that many college guys, so I just keep talking about him. But Tennessee, the 6th-ranked team against 15 Oklahoma. Tennessee's a 7-point favorite on the road in Norman, 48.5-point total. This is at 6:30 p.m. Central. I love Nico, man. I love Nico in the over. So of course they haven't played great teams, so we'll see if Oklahoma's a better step up in class. But I'm laying that 7, baby. Nico.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to deny it. I mean, they just basically score at will, and Oklahoma should be able to. If anything, I'm taking the over. I don't think 58.5 is enough. So, and it's a revenge game because I think the Tennessee head coach was the head coach at Oklahoma at one point, and they fired him. So I think it's a revenge. So I think you could lay the wood there. I mean, you are taking the better quarterback, so I think I'd ride with you. I'd stay away though. I don't like it. It's too much unpredictability for me.
There you go.
The Coop.
Okay, well, let's talk about Coop's picks. You're 6-2 so far against the spread. Looks like 7-1 picking straight up. So what are we doing this week?
So we went against Georgia Tech a couple weeks ago with Syracuse. This week we're riding Georgia Tech against Louisville at +10. So I think it's just a a bit too high. It's more of a 6-point game with the Coopalytics, if you will. So I think you're getting some really good value with Georgia Tech.
Nice. Plus the 10, huh?
Oh, yeah. So,
gotcha.
Second pick I have, I'm riding with Miami. The Hurricanes, Cam Ward looks really good.
They're good.
Yeah. The
16.5.
The 16.5 against South Florida. So they,
Nice.
I think they're going to keep rolling. I think there's some momentum that they have right now, and I think you got to ride the train. So, the third game I have is I'm taking Washington minus 10.5 against Northwestern. So, Northwestern hasn't scored a lot of points this year. Washington did look a little lackluster against Washington State. But I just think it's going to be they got to go across country. They're going to Washington, so I just think it's a little bit of a sleepy spot for them. And then we're gonna write
this year. You haven't talked about colors much. That's like a purple on purple matchup.
Yeah, it is. It would be. It's going to be the Northwestern will probably wear white, I assume.
Yeah,
with the white and the black.
The black helmets. You never know.
That's more bowl season. I feel like bowl season you get like the weird, the really weird colors. Though it's gonna be even weirder when like USC and Michigan play, and USC is wearing red, and the Michigan's wearing. I feel like that's gonna look weirder than the white and the. I don't know. That white and yellow is gonna look weird with the maize. You're right. That is gonna be different. But anyway, we're riding Toledo again this week. By the way, we're gonna talk about momentum. I think Toledo's got a lot of momentum. I rewatched that game on ESPNU last night, like the first 2 quarters, and I just think they're going to have their way with Western Kentucky. They're minus 2.5, but I think this has got a hammer spot written all over it. I think you can tease this one up to 7. Yeah,
rocketing your bank account or rocketing your bankroll.
So I didn't get odds on that parlay. I'll have to check the odds on it.
Yeah, it's okay. Parlays are tough because you miss one, but it's always good to try. Give it a shot.
Can't lose parlay. That's
right. All right, let's go for the NFL now. As I mentioned, it was a really rough day. Well, I shouldn't say for everybody. The books made out quite a bit of money. The dogs went 10-5-1 last week, Coop, and most of them are road dogs. On the season, dogs over 6.5 or more are now 9-1 ATS through 2 weeks, and 5-5 out.
Just because the Jets are up 21-3, so it's probably going to be probably 9-2 now. Just to update you. Yeah.
There you go. Through 2 weeks, right? So maybe it's the revenge of the favorites this week. So, it was an interesting week. When I look back, I'm like, I shouldn't have been that bad. I mean, I picked Green Bay. They cover the numbers we mentioned, 16-10. Tampa, 7.5. They cover the number against Lions. Guess what? We didn't make those picks in the contest, but we did pick
the Vikings.
No, we picked the Vikings. That was the only team we picked. So plus 5, they did win that. They won the game outright 23-17. You mentioned Sam Darnold playing well. The rest of it was a slog. I know you like Jacksonville too. They lost that game 18-13. Cleveland played pretty good, but it's just Jacksonville can't get the ball in the end zone. I don't know what the deal is with this team.
I did some digging into the analytics more, and they're throwing the ball further downfield, and Trevor Lawrence's accurate completion percentage is plummeting. Like, he's averaging 11 yards per attempt this year, and he's only completing like 56% of his passes. And then last year he was at like 9 yards, but he was like just a tick under 60. So
right.
Or maybe it was a tick over 60. But yeah, it's been going down, and first 2 games of the year, I think he was right at like 50%. So
right.
We'll see what happens. I'm not feeling very good about Jacksonville anymore. I mean, technically they've lost 8 straight dating back to last year, I think.
Well, huge game. They're going, we'll talk about later, going to Buffalo, making 0-3. I mean, that's like suicide or like death in terms of playoff chances. You did have the Jets -4, and they did cover. It was a little dicey, but don't worry. Will Levis will help you when you want to cover a number. He made a boneheaded play early in the game, as you saw, and the coach is like, WTF, and what is this guy doing? But he had it. They were like first and goal or second goal with like the 9 or something, and didn't even come close to scoring. So the Jets win 24-17. It sounds like they're going to win today. So Aaron Rodgers in that Jets schedule is very soft, especially to start. And then it just got rough, Coop. We did take the Giants +1.5. You talked about the stat. This is the other thing. Like you said, I don't know. I heard it the other way. The Giants are the only team to have scored 3 touchdowns and not allow a touchdown and didn't win the game. It's like impossible, right? Like, so I guess it's the same stat reversed. Graham Gano pulls a hammy and they have no kicker. I remember watching, like I wasn't watching the game, I was just watching and I was texting Action, like, why are they going for it 4th and 4 at like the 30? Like, no kicker. Like, great. Everybody can make any field goal now, except for Justin Tucker. And this is the one game they don't make a field goal. So, and then and by the way, I think it was Austin Siebert was the kicker. But anyway, like Denver, no, the Bo Nix experiment is not going so good. It's not gotten it done. Pittsburgh wins 13-6. Boy, that defense is playing good for Pittsburgh. No words. And then the Rams just got shellacked 41-10. I mean, Marvin Harrison, apparently he can get the ball. What was the quote last week?
It's not Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray said, I quote, "It's not my responsibility to get him the ball."
Yeah, maybe somebody talked to him between games because two touchdowns in the first quarter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays pretty good at football. And then the Houston game was interesting. We liked Houston's -6.5. It's a bad beat, dude. They're inside the 5-yard line, up like whatever. The 6 points can easily score the touchdown and have an easy cover situation, fumble. Thanks, Cam Akers. And then the Bears do enough to stay in there, and 19-13. Really boring game. Caleb Williams played like shit again. So what can you do?
Yeah, they can't establish the run at all.
Don't worry. This week they will. And then we already talked about the Eagles game. I guess we can recount it a little bit better. The bottom line is they had a 97.5% win percentage chance when they were at 3rd and 3 from the 10 and decided to throw the ball. Saquon Barkley, guess what? He's had the most drops of any running back in the league since he came into the league. So maybe throwing to him wasn't such a sure thing. He dropped an easy one. And then obviously they kicked the field goal. Did you know that their win probability kicking the field goal was 90%? If they went for it, it was 95%. The hell are you guys doing?
Yeah.
But more importantly, 28%. So like in the big pool, the survivor pool, we got knocked out, obviously. Now it's down to 28% of the original entries, roughly 3,800 people. And I don't know if you saw what I put on Twitter. So the guy who owns it, Derek Stevens, who owns Circa, he has what's called an empathy package. If you got eliminated in Survivor now, and you had 1 or 2 entries, he will give you a 2-night stay during the week, starting November 1st to Christmas. If you had more than 2 entries, you get a 3-night stay on the weekend at Circa during that time. So not a bad thing. I'm going to look into it.
Hell yeah, you should. I mean, you're mailing it in early. What's it like anyway? What's it like to mail it in early? Because last year you got to like 13 or 14, eh? Like you guys got down.
Last week was the 3rd week. It was the same.
No, I'm talking about last year. Like last year you guys got down to like week 12 or 13, didn't you?
No, we lost to we lost with the Jags week 3 against Houston.
Ah, damn.
It was 2 years ago in my own Survivor. It was a lot better. I got to 12 or 13. But this year, so
yeah, that's back-to-back years. It's tough. It means you're due, though. It means we're due.
Yeah, we're due. Let's do it again. But you have a stat in here, I think. I don't think I put this one in.
Oh yeah, the Eagles were 7 of 7 on runs of needing runs of 3 yards or less that whole game. They had like 3rd and 3 or less 7 times that game, and they got them all. So, yeah, just insane, completely insane.
I just couldn't believe it was happening. I'm glad I rushed home from work to watch that. So, well, let's go over the spreads in week 3. You've already talked about what's happening in the Jets New England game. So that looks like a cover. Is it still going to stay under the total? It's 38.5.
Yeah, it's 24-3 right now.
Okay, it's looking good. So a lot of interesting lines here. You start off with Giants at Cleveland. Cleveland's a 6.5-point favorite in the contest, 39.5-point total. This is going to be a popular survivor pick with Cleveland. The Giants are very good at football. But fairly big number. I do think the defense is going to be a step up from that Washington defense that they saw. So, can you back Cleveland in this spot? Or are you gonna try to ride with the Fighting Daniel Joneses?
No, they're at home. I like Cleveland at
Yeah.
home. I think they're going to be able to run the ball really well, too. The defensive line for the Giants is supposed to be a strength of this team, and they've been kind of invisible the first 2 games of the season. So, I mean, if Deshaun Watson actually didn't look terrible last week, he looked a little bit better. David Njoku is hurt, which is going to be, kind of a bummer. But, Foreman got a lot of the workload. If he's still available in your fantasy league, I'd definitely go pick him up. He had like 83% snap share, so he's on the field quite a bit. And he played last year with the Bears, I believe, right, or Carolina, one or the other.
Everywhere he goes, the dude produces.
Yeah, so I would go with I'd go with the Browns. I think I'd feel comfortable laying the 6.5.
Yeah, I do like Cleveland quite a bit here. I would put them in a contest action if you're listening. I think it's going to be a fairly unpopular play because 6.5 is a bigger number, but I think they're going to destroy them this week. So there you go. What about Bears in Indianapolis? Indy is a 1.5-point favorite, 43.5-point total. My whole thing here is, and I have not liked Caleb Williams to the date, but I think this is the get right game for the offense. Indy's defense has been a sieve. They've had more injuries as well. I think DeForest Buckner's not in there anymore. They've given up over 150 yards to a rusher in back-to-back games. So come on, Swift, let's go. Let's get it done. So I'm having a hard time not picking the Bears this week. I know it's scary because Indy's 0-2, so they're going to be desperate at home. So it's definitely a good spot for them. But, man, I would back the Bears plus 1.5 here.
Yeah, and Anthony Richardson didn't look very good last week either.
No.
So, no, I'm with you. I mean, if they can't run the football this week, they're not going to run the football all season. It's going to be a long season if they can't run the football ever. So I don't know how the hell you're going to be able to throw the ball 50 times and win in Chicago in December. So you're playing at home. It's going to be impossible. So good luck with that.
On the football.
So if it's not now, it's literally never, in my opinion.
I agree with you. This is a kind of a surprisingly good game. Houston at Minnesota. Minnesota is now only a 2-point dog at home. That's the numbers come down. 46-point total. This is a contest number. I think it's 2.5 right now in the market. So it's tough. I think Houston's a really good football team. I was really on Minnesota. I actually have them written down there at the bottom. But I think the market's starting to catch up, and I'm a little worried about this Houston team. They haven't covered in 2 straight weeks, which means they probably are due. So Justin Jefferson probably will play with his knee. He had like a contusion on his quad, but I think I'm going to lay the wood here with Houston too.
Yeah,
I think it's a reversal.
I think you're on the big thing too is Joe Mixon, in my opinion. If Joe Mixon doesn't play, I think that could be a problem, just because I feel like to establish the run is the big wild card, is the big neutral card to Brian Flores' defenses. Like if you can run the ball consistently against him, it gets him out of his blitz packages, and it makes his defense more basic, in my opinion. So I think that's going to be a big key. But yeah, I'm with you. I would take the -2 for sure. I would stay away from this game though. It's a great color matchup. You talk about color matchups. This is a good one, and the one after this that we have on the list, or no, the one after that one. Sorry, coming up is a good color matchup with the Chargers and Steelers.
The color matchups are back. I love it. Okay, so let's do the next game. You've got Philly at New Orleans. The contest line is -3 for New Orleans at home, 49.5-point total. This line opened, like the look-ahead line was Philly -3. So after the Monday night debacle, it flipped all the way over. So that's a huge line move. That's why I will stay away from this game. Originally, I was like, oh, yeah, let's bet the Saints. I'm going to get excited. But I don't know, man. You're all over it? All over the Saints here?
Oh, no. I'm all over the Eagles. This is a perfect game.
They're going to bounce back, right?
So everybody keeps telling me, at least everybody that says, because they run the West Coast, I guess the version of that West Coast offense, right? Like the Falcons and the Saints run the same type of offense. So everybody's going to be like, oh, well, they just trashed the defense. Like, it's going to happen again, which I think is the opposite. Like, I think the more you see that offense, the better you can play against it. So if you would have made this line back in September or even like back in August when they were making lines, they had the Eagles -3, and now it's all the way the other way. So I think you're getting great value with the Eagles -3. So I would hammer the Eagles. I'd feel good about it. I think Saquon's going to bounce back game. I think I don't know if the Saints do it again, then fine. We're gonna ride the Saints, and I was just a year early. But no, I think this is the get right game for Philly. Obviously AJ Brown's not going to play, which kind of sucks because
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts sucks when AJ Brown doesn't play. So we'll see what happens. But I'd
Right.
ride with Philly.
Yeah, they said they play Saints play a lot of like single high safeties, which AJ Brown kills, but he's not going to play, so we'll see. But Saquon can have a good game. Okay, so Chargers at Pittsburgh. This is a battle of 2-0 squads. Pittsburgh's a 1.5-point favorite at home, 36-point total, super low total, and that makes sense because both these teams just want to get out of the start the bus as soon as they start the game and get on there before the gas runs out. So I don't know, man. Part of me wants to ride the Chargers here. I like the number when it's a little more, like 2.5. Now it's 1.5. I just believe in Jim Harbaugh. I just don't know, man. It's that Pittsburgh defense has played very well. They're fully healthy, which is critical. And I don't know if the quality of competition that the Chargers have played has been very good. So the line is accurate, but if I had a lean and I have it in my picks, I have the Chargers plus 1.5.
See, and I at the beginning of the week I was leaning that way, but the more I think about it, do you know who the offensive coordinator is for the Chargers?
I do, Greg Roman.
Greg
There's
Roman.
a
Do you know where
familiarity
he?
there.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I just
Baltimore.
feel like he was with Baltimore. So I just feel like the Steelers defense has seen his offense a lot. I feel like they're gonna have a lot of familiarity with it. So Justin
Yeah,
Herbert is not 100%, which doesn't make me
it's
feel
true.
any bit better. And just the defense has been amazing. So I don't know. I think I'm going Pittsburgh. I probably don't feel
Yeah.
good about it because I'm taking the shittier quarterback, but I just think the familiarity with that offense and just I
hmm
don't know.
Yeah, it's probably a stay away game, but I hear you. I think that's what makes sense. And I think it's the other way too. I think Greg Roman knows the Steelers defense, right? Am I missing that? But yeah, we'll see what happens. It's a step up in class for the Chargers. They did do the stay east, the classic move, stay east and not go all the way back and forth. So they don't have that
Nice.
travel issue. Stayed in West Virginia or wherever the hell they stay. Okay, so now Denver at Tampa. Tampa's a 6.5-point favorite at home, 40.5 total. Okay, two things. It's going to be a huge survivor pick for Tampa. That was probably going to be our survivor pick if we survived. At least I would have advocated for it. I've heard a lot of steam for Denver in this game, and I'm going to explain it first. First of all, it's weird, but I think I would bet the over in this game, 40.5. Tampa has a lot of injuries. They only gave up 10 points last week. The Lions, or 16 points to the Lions last week, but they gave up like 430 yards of offense. The Lions were 1-7 in the red zone. Now, this is not the same offense, of course, for Denver, but I think they're going to be able to keep up in this game. And Denver, I don't know, they haven't played great, but they played two really good defenses. So I'd maybe make the case for plus 6.5, and that's kind of my Jimmy Wegs sneaky pick of the week.
Oh, nice. There you go. Sneak that one in the back door, eh?
Mm-hmm.
No, I like the over. I'm with you. The Lions were 1-7 in the red zone. You said that earlier. They've also been less efficient. Jared Goff has been less efficient this year so far compared to just kind of air targets as well. They're not throwing the ball down the field as much as they were last year. They're not completing it at as high of a rate as what they were last year too. So I'm with you. I think the over is. I mean, you could tease it up if you really want to keep teasing that 6.5 down. So I think you can tease it up to like 43, 44 and feel pretty good about it. So yeah, I'm with you. I would stay away from the 6.5, but I would hammer the over here.
Okay. I like it. Over. We like that. Okay, so now we got Green Bay at Tennessee. Tennessee is a 2-point favorite in the contest. I think it's as high as 2.5 in the marketplace, and 38-point total. I have a question for you, Coop. Why do you think Tennessee's favorite in this game? I'm not saying they shouldn't be like maybe a pick 'em or a half point, but I'm missing. Am I missing something? Have they played? They should have won 2 games, I guess. But they got Will Levis at quarterback. Last time I checked, and Green Bay, they I don't know. They could be 2-0. What's going on here? Talk to me about it.
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I know about the Titans is that if you have Calvin Ridley on your fantasy team, you should have traded him this week. And if you didn't trade him this week, that's completely on you. But I mean, their defense has played really well through a couple games too.
Simmons is good.
Yeah, their defense is really good, especially if Will Levis didn't turn the ball over so much. They'd be even better. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because Malik Willis is running out of talent. I don't know, or running out of luck in Vegas's eyes. I don't know. The run defense of Tennessee is much better. So if they're going to win, they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. God, I hate everything about this game. I hate the number. I hate the total. I do. I just hate everything about it.
I hate you.
I love the color matchup, though. Another great color matchup.
Yeah, I knew it.
The light blue and the green. Yeah.
Well, to tell you that the current spread is actually Tennessee -3, but the contest pick is 2. So I think they're anticipating. Well, they're anticipating money to buy in. They try to anticipate the final number, so they know that the pack, their public team for the most part, are going to be bought down. I don't know. The only thing I would say, of course, Tennessee's 0-2. Look, a lot of times bet those 0-2 teams because they're not going to go winless for forever. But I'm on pack again, man. +2. I wish it was 2.5 or 3, but I got to keep supporting my Green Bay Packer. I've got my cheesehead.
Yeah. Wegspool.com, I think, had this as a victory on the schedule.
I did. All right, so this is the afternoon slate. You've got Carolina at Vegas, 5-point favorite for Vegas at home, 40-point total. As you mentioned, Andy Dalton gets the start here, and it sounds like you do like the over already. Can you get on board with the points too and +5?
I mean, it's the 401k pick of the week in my opinion.
Ooh, yeah. Is it the over or the +5?
Probably both. I think you can parlay it together even if you want to get real frisky. But because the Panthers have played
on a parlay.
Well, they've played the number 1 ranked defense and the number 3 ranked defense, the number 1 red zone defense, and the number 2 red zone defense. So just by virtue, the Raiders are the 25th ranked red zone defense. And just we've saw what Bryce Young looks like. I know Andy Dalton can at least play football a little bit. So
yeah,
I think you hammered Deontay Johnson this week. I think you hammered the over. I think you take Carolina. They're probably not going to win. They may lose 24-21, but it's going to look like a lot. They're going to score points this week, and it's going to be if you're not in now, you better hurry up. So that's all I got to say about that.
I agree. I think the total is going to shoot up at some point, but Andy Dalton, revenge tour. Although he didn't play for the Raiders, but he's playing for everywhere else.
All right.
Okay, Miami goes out to Seattle. 4.5-point favorites for Seattle at home. 41.5-point total. Skylar Thompson to start. They did put Tua on IR officially, I guess, and maybe he's contemplating retirement. We'll see what happens. Not a lot of love for Skylar here. I mean, he can play. He's not the greatest.
From
Virginia?
No, Kansas State.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. So I don't know. I think Seattle's one of those teams. They've played really well, but have they played anybody good? And Miami, even with Skylar Thompson in there, is going to score points. So I kind of think that's too many points. So I'd take Miami here. They're not one of my official picks, but I like the +4.5 for Miami.
No, I definitely think you're getting the value. I think Mike McDaniel is an underdog. I think has a pretty decent record.
Yeah.
And at least when it's not December, to say the least. But no, I think you're getting value there. I don't know what to expect because we saw them almost beat the Bills in a Buffalo game with Skylar Thompson, and then I've also seen them also score 10 points against the Jets with Skylar Thompson. So I have no idea what we're gonna get. So
right.
The defense should be able to.
But they run the ball.
Well, Seattle's down a running back. They're without Kenneth Walker. So we're gonna see what happens.
We'll see what happens. So
Jalen Ramsey and DK Metcalf used to play against each other quite a bit when he was a Ram. So there is a little bit of familiarity there too.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So we'll see. And I think Miami, they got to step up on the defensive end in this one. Next game, Detroit at Arizona. Detroit is a 3-point favorite on the road. This total was higher than this, but now it's 51.5 in the market. I did say over, but now the money is coming in on the under, but it was up to 52.5 a day or so ago. A lot of things I was thinking about this game initially, like, Arizona's been a surprise team. They played, really well the first 2 weeks. Detroit has kind of underwhelmed in my mind. They could be 0-2, but this is a spot where they can score a lot of points. Arizona doesn't play any defense, So I don't know. Three's it's not a bad number actually, but I'm going to stay away from this one. What do you think?
I love the value with Arizona. Honestly, I think they could win this game.
Yep.
Kyler Murray's just been really good through 2 games already. When he's healthy, man, he's just different. So, there's probably not going to be a whole lot of defense in this game, but I still think you could backdoor cover even if it gets a little bit out of hand early. So, I wouldn't worry.
I think they're going to run the ball. I think Detroit's going to try to run it down their throats, but we'll see. So maybe that does beg for the under, but I hear you. I was on to Arizona early too. I'm like, oh yeah, Arizona, let's do it. But we'll see what happens. That one definitely staying away. That's the no mas game for me. The last game, let's see. Oh no, it's got 2 more games. They actually
Drake May is officially in the game, by the way.
Oh well, it's like 50 seconds go, right?
Well, he's been in for a minute.
Oh, has he?
Drake May, but they're gonna run out of time. They didn't even call timeout.
Yeah. Now he's chucking, huh? Okay, so Baltimore at Dallas. This is the I don't know what to expect game. Baltimore's a 1-point favorite on the road, 48-point total. Baltimore, it's the first time they've been 0-2 in like over a decade. So my initial early week thing was you got to hammer Baltimore. They're not going to lose 3 games in a row, but obviously they're not playing so great. So I ended up taking off my official card, but I still would back Baltimore in this spot. Minus the 1, probably go under the total 48.
Lamar Jackson's 20-1 against NFC teams. I'm taking the Ravens. I'm not don't overthink this, Jim. Don't overthink it.
I know.
Don't overthink it. Take the Ravens. It's gonna be fine. Dallas has been underwhelming on offense, even. They beat the Browns week 1, but they scored a touchdown on a kick return, and then they didn't really look that great.
They can't run the ball.
They can't. I don't think they could do a lot. I told you at the beginning of the year, this is going to be the year this team falls apart. So
5-12, I think is your prediction.
I didn't say 5-12. I said 9-8 or 8-9. But I'm not overthinking it.
There might be a coaching advantage.
Well, there's a kicker advantage for one team, that's for sure.
Well, here's a weird stat though. There's only been 4 missed field goals over 50 yards this year.
And Tucker's got 3 of them. 2 of them.
Yeah, 2 or 3 of them. Yeah, he's I think maybe he's 1 of 3 or 1 of 4. Anyway, I hear what you're saying. The kicker, forget that. I think it's about the running game, and Dallas can be had in the running game too. So you're right. It was on maybe I'll go back. I'll reverse. Go back to that gut feeling. They're going to win the game.
Don't overthink it.
Okay, how about this one? This is the last in the 3:00 window or the late window. San Francisco at the Rams. San Francisco is a 7-point favorite on the road, 43.5-point total. This was actually at 7.5 early in the week, so if you didn't get it, sorry. But I still think it's too big of a number. They showed so poorly last week against Arizona, but come on, are they really going to lose a divisional game at home by more than 7 points? I don't think so. It's Rams or pass.
Yeah, I'm overthinking this one a lot. That's all I'll say. I saw there was a 3-team trade proposal. Did you see it? That it was between the Dolphins, the Panthers, and the Rams. The Dolphins were going to trade draft capital. The Rams were going to trade draft capital to the Panthers. The Panthers were going to trade Bryce Young to the Rams. The Rams were going to send Matt Stafford to the Dolphins. So,
what?
Yeah, it'd be pretty insane. But yeah, I'm with you. I got to stick to my Rams a little bit just because there's so many injuries with the 49ers as well. Debo's not going to play. McCaffrey's not going to play. So,
Rams
I'm with you. And McVay owns Shanahan for some reason.
Yeah. San Francisco traditionally covers the spread when they're a dog in this game, but they do not win these games. It's weird. Okay, Sunday night game. You got Kansas City at Atlanta. Look, Atlanta back on prime time. Kansas City's a 3.5 point favorite on the road, 46.5 point total. Our guy is at Isaiah Pacheco out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken leg. He had a surgery. That sucks. Um, you've got Carson Steele. You got some Carson Steele shares? I picked
No,
him up in a couple leagues.
no,
He's
I
got the
got
hair,
Kareem Hunt
man.
though. I got
Got
Kareem
the
Hunt.
hair. Yeah, I know. He's fine. Like 30 now, 29. So, what do you think in this game? 3.5. Don't love the hook. Atlanta did get off the schneid, but Kansas City's defense is way better, and they're actually going to get pressure on Kirk Cousins, unlike the Eagles' overpaid front.
I love the hook.
You love the hook? You like 3.5?
I love the hook. I think Kirk Cousins is going to get healthier by the week. He looked a little bit
Okay.
healthier this week. He was moving around a
Yeah.
little bit more. And I just think they're going to continue. Like the healthier he gets, the better this team is going to look. I mean, yeah, they played really soft coverage, but like every throw was perfect that he made on that final drive as well. So like,
Well, we don't have pressure on the quarterback. It's like
yeah.
7-on-7 drills.
But I think the healthier, like I said, I think with every week he's going to build, and their defense is actually pretty good. So
Yeah, their defense has played good when you look at it. Obviously, Pittsburgh's the offense is no great shakes, but they played good defense against Philly. They still held them to 21 points. So, they just couldn't stop the run. I don't know if Kansas City can run the ball that much. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's a stay away. But I hear you. It's Atlanta or pass.
I don't think it's a stay away at all. I think you hammer it.
You love it?
Yeah, and I like it. I like it a lot.
I haven't looked at your picks yet, but I'm hoping to see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we've got the 2 Monday night games next week. I'll actually get to see these, Coop, because I'm going to be on the East Coast. I can actually watch football if I can stay awake. I might even go to Atlantic City, roll the bones. You never know. I mean, I got a night to kill and some money to burn. Not really. Jacksonville at Buffalo. Buffalo's a 5.5 point favorite at home, 45.5 point total. This game's starting at 6:30 p.m. Central, so it's very early. And it's do or die for the Jags, dude. I mean, 5.5. Like earlier in the week, I'm like, oh, Jags plus 5.5, but I don't know, bro. I mean, actually, their defense has been playing okay. It's not the
playing their ass off.
The offense. So I take the points in this one. I don't think they're going to lose 3 in a row.
No, I'm with you. I think the value is definitely with Jacksonville. I hate how their team is playing right now. So I have a hard time. I would stay away, but I would take the over.
Bench Trevor Lawrence. Is that what you said?
No, I said I would stay away from. I would stay away from, but I would take the bench Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know who their backup is. To be honest, no, it's Mac Jones. It's Mac Jones.
Oh, Mac Jones. Mac Jones era could start again.
There it is. After they just gave like $200 million to Trevor.
I know. He's playing like garbage. Okay, so you stay away. Would you like the total over? You said.
Yeah, I like the over here.
Okay. Last game, Washington at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a 7.5 point favorite, 47 point total. It starts at 7:15 p.m. So it'll be a nice little stagger there for the finish of these games. Cincinnati is going to be a very popular survivor pick as well, although they let you down last time. And Jaden Daniels, I mean, he didn't run around. He's going to do his thing. He made some plays last week, but they didn't get in the end zone. I don't like it this week though. I'm not saying 7.5. I can't really back that hook, but I can't really back Washington primetime game rookie. No thanks. I think Hendrickson, right? Trey Hendrickson's going to be in his grill a lot of the day. I think he's going to have 4 sacks in this game. So I go Cincinnati. I'd probably buy this game down on a teaser, but if I had to do it, I guess I'd take the hook 7.5.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's in the jungle too, and then I think this is exactly everybody's gonna out. The general public's gonna be like, oh, they already let us down. Like they're gonna do it again. And I think you got to go the opposite way here. I think Joe Burrow looks healthier too. They look a little bit better last game. They got the tight ends involved, which I think is going to be interesting if that's going to be like a staple of this offense moving forward without T. Higgins. But T. Higgins is also questionable to play, so we might see him depending. Monday night they get an extra day to get him together, so we'll see what happens.
Well, another 0-2 squad, so they're going to win just whether they cover the number. So we'll see. Yeah, like Gesicki, I picked him up in the league because he had a monster game last week, but it's finally involved him. He's a good player. Okay, so picks for week 3, not week 2, Jimmy Wegs. Official picks. I got Green Bay plus the 2, Cleveland minus 6.5, Bears plus 1.5. I'm feeling great about the Chargers plus 1.5, and then Denver plus 6.5. A lot of dogs again. How about yourself, Coop?
I took Pittsburgh minus 1.5, Chicago plus the 1, Atlanta plus the 3.5, Baltimore minus the 1, and then Carolina plus the 5.5.
Yeah, I think
it smells like 5-0, Jimmy. I don't know about you, baby.
Well, I mean, you were 1-4 last week. I think it's time to flip it. I was not much better, so it was a tough week. But yeah, I think I like the Baltimore one. I'll probably make it on the card when I talk to Action on Saturday. So just to recap the contest, Survivor, we are out. That sucks. 28% left. So good luck to everybody. I'm happy for you. I'm gnashing my teeth. Side Action has not come out of the gates well. We 1-4 last week, just brutal. 4 points. We're in I think it's like 2500 place, so somewhere 40th percentile. Not good, but it's still early. And the good thing about the contest is there's actually nobody who's undefeated. Usually at this stage, after 2 weeks, you're 10-0. There's usually for the first 4 weeks, somebody's like 19-1. The best guys are 8-1-1. So that's actually pretty bad when it comes to the contest. So there's a little glimmer of hope for the Side Action going forward. So we'll see what happens. So what's going on this weekend for you, Coop? Are you still in town or staying in Chicago?
Yeah, I think we're going to a Cubs game Saturday. So I think we're going to catch a game before the season's over. So yeah, nothing else really. I mean, football Sunday. I'll be doing editing and then Between the Benches, baby, doing that podcast.
Yeah.
So
Saw that you got a good follow I saw on there.
yeah, something like that. So
Well,
been making all the social media stuff for it.
It's good. This weekend will be an interesting. I'm gonna be in here for Hawaii. I guess I'll watch some of the games on Sunday. I fly out. It's like a pretty rough travel schedule. You leave at 5 p.m. Hawaii time. I arrive in Chicago at 6:30 in the morning, layover. Get to Philly at like 11 their time. I guess that's 5 a.m. Hawaii time. So it's 12 hours of travel. It's a rough one. But I'll be able to catch the Monday night games. And then I have the kind of a 3-day, 2.5-day conference in Atlantic City area. And there's a chance you and I can get back together, Edgewater Studios, next Thursday if you're down. I do fly in the evening. Otherwise, we could do it sometime on Friday.
Nice. There it is. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we love it. We love
Good
it. So
Good to hear.
Hopefully this actually recorded properly and we can post this. I'm not as confident as you are, but follow us at Side Action Pod on X and Side Action Podcast on Instagram. Follow me at Wegspool on X and on Instagram.
And you can check me out on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. Check us out on Instagram and on X at Side Action Pod and Side Action Podcast. Until next week, happy betting. We only give out winners on this podcast. That's all I know. So
yeah, we get out. I don't listen to the losers. We don't hear losers. It goes in one, it goes out the other. The winners stick inside and in your bankroll, baby.
We never lose on this podcast. We just run out of time.
That's true. Just like the Patriots just now. All right, brother.